Hello, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm gonna tell you about the books I read in May and also the books I plan to read in June. Alright, so the first book I read was Subterranean by James Rollins, and this is a science fiction thriller, and it follows a group of researchers who go underground on Antarctica, and they don't know that, but we'll soon learn that they're the second team to do this, because the first team went missing and no one knows what happened to them, but they are assumed dead. And I was very excited about this because I had read another book by this author that I had really enjoyed. So yeah, I was very excited about this book, but I was also very disappointed. The only thing I enjoyed was like the actual plot, even though it wasn't amazing, because I don't know, it wasn't as exciting to learn about what was underground as I was expecting. And I mean, I already didn't like this in the other book I read from this author, which was the romance. And again, I don't mind romance in my books, but this one was just too forced, I feel like. And in the other book I read from this author, I felt the same thing. It was too forced. I didn't feel any actual connection between the characters. I didn't feel any chemistry. I didn't feel anything. It was very forced. And also there was a kid who was the main character's son. And everything that happened to him was so convenient. He basically ended up saving the day because he had all the answers, basically, because he had conveniently come across them. And yeah, I didn't like that. And I ended up giving this one 3 stars. The second book I read in May was The Eye of the World, which is book 1 in the Wheel of Time series. And I actually have a dedicated reading vlog up in my channel that I will link in the description. This is an epic fantasy series, and like I said, this is book 1, so we just get to know this world and the characters and the magical system, and as a fantasy fan, I was so excited to read this. And basically we follow a group of characters who have to leave their village because it was attacked, and I mean that's a very common setup for fantasy, but I love those kind of books. So yeah, I was very excited, and the first 200 pages were like very exciting because we were getting to know the characters and the world. And then from like page 200 to page 550, it was pretty slow. And then the last 200 pages were very exciting again, and the ending was insane. But yeah, I definitely had some pacing issues with this book. I'm obviously not gonna get into any spoilers on this video, but if you wanna hear my spoilery thoughts, they're on the vlog. And another issue I had with this book was the lack of information. Like, I get that this is the first book in a 14-book series, so this is just the tip of the iceberg of the world, but I feel like I needed a lot more information about the world and the magic system, just because there were a lot of things I didn't understand, and it would have been a lot more enjoyable if I did understand them. So yeah, but I still really enjoyed the plot, and I really liked the characters, and the ending, like I said, was insane, and I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. The next 3 books I read, I also made a reading vlog for them, and I will also link them down below. And the first one was The Burning Girls by C.J. Tudor. This book is a mystery thriller, and we basically follow Reverend Jack and daughter Flo, who move into a new small town. And we know that Jack is running from something from the past, but we don't know what it is. And in this town they have like a tradition surrounding the Burning Girls, who were some girls that were burned at the stake 500 years ago. And they have basically become part of the town's folklore. Also, 30 years ago, 2 girls went missing, and there's a mystery around their disappearance, and also the death of the last reverend who was there before Jack. So there was a lot going on in this book. But the storyline I was most interested in was actually the Burning Girls, because it just felt more like scary and mysterious, and I mean, I love supernatural stuff, so maybe that's why. And I don't know, like, the book was called The Burning Girls, so I was expecting it to focus more on the actual burning girls, but it didn't. It was mostly focused on the 2 girls who went missing, and also Jack and Jack's past and life. And yeah, I was disappointed because I probably went into this book with the wrong expectations. But yeah, I really wanted to focus more on the Burning Girls, and it didn't. And although I did like where the book went, I would have preferred the other direction. So I ended up giving this one also a 3.5. The next book was They Never Learn by Lane Fargo, and this is also a thriller, and we follow two perspectives, Scarlett and Carly. Scarlett is a college professor who finds the worst men on campus and basically punishes them, and Carly is a freshman at that same college. And during the first half of the book, I was very interested in Scarlett's story and like what she does and how she finds these men and how she plans everything. Like it was very interesting, like in a very twisted way, but very interesting. But once we find out how Scarlett and Carly are connected and like the big reveal, I kind of lost interest in Scarlett and started caring a lot more about Carly's storyline. And there wasn't anything really like wrong that I can pinpoint with this book. But at the same time, like the week before that I was reading this book, I started watching a TV show with my roommate called Girl from Nowhere. And basically she goes to different schools and like punishes bad people, she's the bringer of karma. And even if I wanted to be objective and just rate the book objectively on how good it was, I couldn't not compare it to the show because it was a somewhat similar concept. And for me, the show was just so much better that, yeah, I couldn't give it a very high rating. So I ended up rating this book 3.5 stars. But having said that, like, it was very compelling to read. I got through it very, very quickly. But yeah, there was just something that I wasn't feeling, I didn't love it. So at this point, my reading month was not going great because I had a 3-star book and 3.5 star books. So I was, not feeling it. But then I read Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, and oh my god, I loved that book so much. It was a 5 out of 5 for me. And I can already tell that it's probably going to be one of my favorite books of the year because it was just so good. So I knew going into this book that it wasn't going to be like a thriller with a fast-moving plot with twists and turns and like crazy characters. And yeah, I knew it was going to be more like of a character study, and I typically love books that have a fast-moving plot and a lot of action, and I was scared to read this book, honestly. I was really scared because this is not the type of book I usually like. But having said that, I love getting to know these characters. I love getting to know their personalities, their secrets, their dynamics with each other, like the whole family, and just the parents and the children and the siblings. It was all so fascinating, but it was also so incredibly sad. I almost cried at the end of this book, and I never cry with books. But it was just so sad. I think I didn't explain it, but basically, and this is not a spoiler, this is in the synopsis, and it's just literally the beginning of the book. We follow the Lee family, and they find out that their favorite child, Lydia, he's dead. And basically, we have to learn how she died, and we don't get that through like detectives and investigations. We just get that through learning their secrets, because the whole family had a lot of secrets, and that's why the book's called Everything I Never Told You, because they were all hiding something. And yeah, secrets unfold, and when we find out how Lydia died, it was really, really so sad. But in a way, the ending of the book was also very hopeful, and honestly, if I had to recommend a book from this month, it would definitely be Everything I Never Told You, and probably like this year so far. I think this has been my favorite book so far. It was perfection. Okay, and after this incredibly high, we go to a incredibly low. Yeah, I read Ruin and Rising by Lee Bardugo, and it took me the whole month to read this book because I started reading it at the beginning of the month, and I only finished it on like the 26th, I think. Because I would like read a chapter, get bored, and pick up another book, then read a chapter, get bored, and pick up another book. and so on, until I got to the halfway point, and it was almost the end of the month, and I was like, I need to finish reading this. So I just powered through the audiobook, but oh my god, was I bored. And I had seen low reviews for this book, but they were mostly about the ending, like people not liking how it ended. And honestly, I didn't mind how it ended, because I didn't mind Mal. He was alright. I mean, he wasn't great either, but I mean, I didn't love the Darkling. I feel like everyone loves the Darkling, and I'm just like, he's okay. But also, Mal is like, I don't know. I was gonna say I don't love anyone from this book, but that's a lie. I love Nikolai. Nikolai is probably the only good thing about this book, or even this series. So, yeah, I'm excited to read King of Scars, that's for sure. But the other characters, I didn't love them. And like I was saying, my problem wasn't with the ending, it was just the whole book. Like, where was the plot? I was so bored, like, so bored. And it did pick up after the halfway points, but yeah, if I wasn't listening to the audiobook and like playing Minecraft at the same time, I don't know how I would have finished it, because I was bored. But since it did pick up at the ending, and there were some action scenes that I was like, okay, this is not so bad, I ended up giving it 2.5 stars.
Okay, so I was editing this video and I was like, does a book that bored me so much deserve to be on the middle of my rating scale? And no, it absolutely does not, so 2 stars it is.
Alright, and the last book I read was Dracula by Bram Stoker, and I have a reading vlog coming up for this book next week, so I'm not really going to get into any of my thoughts for this book, and also I'm not really sure about the rating yet, because I just finished reading it yesterday. But yeah, I mean, I think everyone knows what this book is. I mean, Dracula is the most famous vampire in history ever, so yeah, this is a classic horror novel that follows a group of people who are trying to get rid of Dracula, because he's really evil. And yeah, I have thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm not gonna share them here because I don't wanna spoil my reading vlog. But yeah, this was the last book I finished. Alright, so now for my June TBR. The first book I'm gonna be reading, and I know for a fact that I'm gonna be reading it because I have already started, and it was in my May TBR, is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I am reading this on audiobook, and I am like, I would say 20% into this, and I am really enjoying it so far. So basically, this book, we are going to follow Linus, who lives a solitary life with his cat, and he works for the department in charge of magical youth, and he basically oversees the well-being of magical children who are in orphanages. Orphanages? I have no idea how to say that word. Yeah. And one day he's summoned by extremely upper management, saying that he has a secret assignment, that he's going to be overseeing an orphanage. Orphanage? Anyway, he's going to be overseeing one, and there are some special children there. And yeah, I've heard that this is a very wholesome and cute story, and I can definitely see it going in that direction so far. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really excited. And honestly, I hope my reading month in June is better than May, because May wasn't great. Next book I want to be reading is The Great Hunt, which is book 2 of the Wheel of Time series, after The Eye of the World. And I don't really know what's going to happen in this book. I just know that we're going to follow the characters after what happened at the end of book 1, and the end of book 1 was insane, so I am very, very excited, and I know that I will be doing another reading vlog for this one, so yeah. Next book I want to read is Lake Summit by Charlie Donlier, and I have no idea if that's how you say his name, so very sorry about that. I don't know how to pronounce anything, in case you haven't noticed. And yeah, this is the Portuguese version, but the original title is Summit Lake, and I'll insert the original cover right here. And yeah, this is a mystery thriller about Summit Lake, which is a city located in North Carolina, which seems to be very peaceful until a young girl, a young law student, and also the daughter of a very powerful attorney, is brutally murdered. And we're going to follow a reporter who is called Kelsey Castle, I think. Yeah, Kelsey Castle, as she investigates what happened to the girl who was murdered. And yeah, I read a book by this author earlier this year and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, very excited. Next book I plan to read is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. And since I loved Everything I Never Told You so much, I am very excited to read this. This book is set in Shaker Heights, which is Cleveland. And Shaker Heights is basically, seems to be basically a picture-perfect town. And Elena Richardson seems to be the embodiment of that picture-perfect town. And then Mia Warren, who is an artist and also single mom, gets to Shaker Heights and she's bringing a mysterious past with her. And I'm assuming we'll find out that Shaker Heights is really not as perfect as it seems to be, and probably neither is Elena. And if this book is anywhere near as good as Everything I Never Told You, I'm going to absolutely love it. Next, I plan to read The Lost Ones by Sheena Kamal. And this one is a thriller, and it's about Nora Watts, who is informed that the daughter she gave away 15 years ago has gone missing. And she feels like she can't turn her back on her daughter. And she basically tries to find out where she is, and as she tries to find out where her daughter is, she is basically haunted by the past she tried to leave behind. But yeah, the past won't stay behind. And that's literally all I know about this book. But it sounds very interesting to me. So yeah, very excited to read that. And I know I say I'm very excited to read everything and then I end up not loving things, but I am very excited. Next book I plan to read is The God Emperor of Dune, which is book 4. Book 4 in the Dune series. And we are going to follow Leto II, who basically became Emperor of Arrakis on the end of book 3, and I'm not gonna say anything else because I will spoil everything. But yeah, he had a transformation at the end of book 3, which was interesting to say the least. And yeah, I am excited, although this time I'm not just excited, I am scared because I loved the first book, I really enjoyed the second book, I didn't enjoy the third book so much, so yeah, and I have heard that the series gets worse as it progresses, so yeah, I am excited, but apprehensive. And the last book that is on my plans for June is Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo, and I'm still on my way to try to read all the books in the Grishaverse before watching the show Shadow and Bone. So yeah, am I going great? I am not, because the show has come out a while ago and I'm still struggling. But I'm still persevering and I'm gonna do this if it's the last thing I do. So again, I don't really know much about this book. All I know is what I've seen online, and that it's a group of people who go on a heist. And yeah, that's all I know. And I also know that people like this book a lot more than the Shadow and Bone trilogy. So that is reassuring because I didn't love the Shadow and Bone trilogy. And yeah, I am actually excited for this one because I feel like everyone loves it and I want to love it too. So yeah, those are my plans for June. And I think this is all for this week's video. And I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!